Hey guys, 𝗙𝗏 here, back with another video. I know it's been a little while, and I know the videos are a little few and far between right now, and that's of course because I'm still on vacation here in Turkey. I'll be here another couple of weeks, and you know, I'm here with a family. There's a lot of people around. We tend to go on lengthy day trips here and there, so there hasn't been a lot of time just for me to be alone and do a lot of videos, which is why they haven't been coming as frequently as they usually do, and I'm sorry about that. But for those of you who wait, I know some of you out there wait for me to drop new videos. I think you have the little bell icon on or something like that, right? The little alerts. So in a couple weeks, I'll be back in Germany, and then soon after that, I'll be back stateside, and I'll be able to have more time and space to do videos more frequently again. So it's just been a little bit challenging to do that right now. But of course, one of the most rewarding things about doing this and doing this work and doing this channel is to receive success stories. And I love those success stories. And I want to say that, you know, this one I'm about to read is from a client I've been working with. Sometimes I get them from people who just watch my channel, and they write me and they go, hey, 𝗙𝗏, something you said or what you said, and I listened and I took your advice and things turned around and look how amazing. And I love receiving those. So please keep those coming. And even if you have success stories that I had no part in, I want to hear about them, okay? Even if it's something from a couple of years ago. Some of you, I think, watch this channel because you're just interested in the subject matter. You don't necessarily want to manifest somebody back right now, or you already have done that and you're living your awesome relationship with that person right now. I even want to hear from you because these are so inspiring for people. Not only are they inspiring, but they're also instructional, right? Instructional, is that the word? You know, people get to see the process that you went through. People get to see how you shifted, how you did it, right? And the fact that you know, even if it was after years of waiting or trying to get somebody back to manifest a person in your life, and then finally it worked, you know, that can be very, very encouraging for people. Because I know a lot of people out there, the time factor is a huge deal. Hey, we broke up 6 months ago. We broke up a year ago. It's been 2 years already. And, you know, in your mind, because your mind still thinks that time is important, which of course your inner being understands it's not important. It doesn't even really exist. It's a construct. But, you know, it can be very discouraging to sit there and go, I'm still waiting after all this time. But of course, you're only doing that because you're aware of waiting. Your focus is on waiting, which is why it seems to take more time. But, you know, when you manifest your ex or your specific person, you're not going to be worried about time. You're going to be in that awesome relationship. You're not even going to think about time. So that right there demonstrates that time isn't really a factor. So this woman that I'm about to read, I'm about to read her email, her success story, worked with me. I worked with her a couple of times in the last couple of months, and she was doing pretty badly. And she was putting all of her focus on her SP. What's he doing? Is he with other women? It's been long time already. I'm not hearing from him, or he's only cold. And she was getting very, very down about that because she was making it all about him. She was putting all her focus on what he was doing and making how he behaved and showed up in her life dependent on, making her happiness dependent on that, right? And I had to tell her a couple of times, listen, you need to turn it around. You need to look at it from the other perspective. You need to start getting happier. You need to stop thinking so much about him and start focusing on yourself, loving yourself, respecting yourself, making your life awesome. And then he'll show up. It'll change. It'll shift. But as long as you keep making your happiness, your contentment, your peace of mind dependent on how he shows up, you're not creating for yourself. You're letting somebody else create for you. You're not using your own power. You're letting somebody else have the power in your life, okay? And that, of course, is going to slow things down, or even grind things to a halt, which will be frustrating, and then you have this cycle that you kind of get into, all right? And you have to break the cycle at some point. You have to start taking the steps for yourself to break that cycle. You got to stop making them, trying to change them. It's not about changing them. It's about changing yourself every single time. What is it not about? It's not about you. No. Okay, it is about you. Who is it not about? It's not about them. It's about you, always. That's what I meant to say. You know, around here, people live at night. So I spend a lot of nights drinking coffee and tea into the night because it gets very hot here in the summer. So people tend to sleep or lay low during the day in the summertime, and then they're up all night eating and drinking tea. So my brain is a little frazzled. I'm not used to that kind of schedule. So if I misspeak during this video, or if I seem a little slow or a little bit addle-brained, you'll know why. So anyway, let me get into the email. And now I want to precede this by saying that she put in the subject line, she put half success story update. And the reason she put half success story is because, you know, she's not quite in the relationship yet. But as you'll see, things are moving in an amazing direction. Sometimes we want everything overnight, you know, so she's seeing this as a half success story. But I'm here to tell you, it is a success story. It's the beginning of an even more amazing success story. So, you know, the half success story, there's no half here. Success is success, all right? And of course, I want to say this about that. What's happening here and the success you're having here is because you shifted. And again, like I said before, it's all about you, not about them. But really, I want to say another thing about that, because what you want, the moment you formulate your desire, it's a thing already. It exists in this hazy state form. And really all that it is that we want is we think we need to have it in a state where we can perceive it with our five senses, right? Our physical senses, which of course are incredibly limited. Our perception of reality through our five senses is extremely limited. It's only a tiny slice of what's really going on out there, what reality really is and what the nature of it really is. So often we think that because we're not seeing anything, we're not hearing from them, they're not here in the room with us, we can't feel them or touch them or taste them, is because then nothing's happening or we failed. But your desire exists. The circumstance that you want exists the moment you conjure it up with your desire. And of course, you conjure up your desire, you formulate your desire by living through some resistance and living through some challenging situations that are unwanted by you. But those are the ones that give you the clarity to figure out what it is that you want instead. That's what you use them for. So those things are there as a tool for you to decide what your preferences are. And your preferences are always going to change. As you live through your life and live your experiences, you're always going to want something more. You're always going to expand and grow into somebody else who now wants something a little bit different, okay? But the thing is, in order to get your desire, your circumstance that you prefer out of that hazy state, that vibrational escrow, as Abraham calls it, Abraham Hicks, is to put your positive focus on it. And that's how you solidify that possibility, that possible outcome. You solidify it into something that you can then perceive with your senses, all right? Physical reality, as we call it. So that's all it really is. So all it takes is you shifting yourself. That's what it is. You're the one who has to shift, all right? And become a match to that situation. And you do so, yes, vibrationally. And by the way, on the vibration front, everything vibrates. Everything has a frequency, and that is science as well. But I'll talk about that in another video. Even things that are inanimate seemingly have awareness because they're part of the same energy, the same God source, okay, just as we are. But anyway, I digress. Let me get into this right now. Hi, Tarkon. Yes, you read that right about your half success story. It's a complete success story. I'm so happy and excited. I have known my SP since April 2018. At that time, we both did not want a steady relationship. We became friends with benefits. We met regularly, had everyday contact. Our connection was very familiar. I developed feelings and told him that. So here's kind of what I was talking about earlier a little bit. As you manifest something that you want, so you guys started out as a match to each other in terms of your desire. You both were okay with just being friends with benefits, and it was fun for a while. But then one or the other party is going to want a little bit more. And it was you in this case. You did manifest this friends with benefit relationship with him. But then you wanted more. And you wanted more as a result of living that experience. As you lived it, and then you realized, you know, this has been fun, but I might want something a little bit more than this, okay? And then what happened is you made it about him needing to change or match up with that instead of you matching up with that new desire that you formulated out of living this circumstance, this event, this relationship, okay? And I think that's where you started kind of falling on your face a little bit. And we all do it, right? I've done it, that this is how it happens. But this is why we have videos like this is why we do coaching, so that we can figure this stuff out and talk about it and talk through it. He did not change his mind. Well, he hadn't caught up with your desire yet. All right. So there was a version here of him there that was a match to your desire, but you have to match with that version of him, right? There's a parallel reality where he also wants what you want, but that you hadn't really shifted out of that yet. You had only just formulated the desire, the new desire, and started realizing and recognizing that this isn't what you now wanted. And what happened is, by telling him your feelings at that point, you kind of expected him to change and suddenly become a match to your feelings now. But of course, what happens is you have to then sort of pull back and kind of shift yourself into that parallel reality. That's where you become focused in your mind. Let the thing unfold, okay? Oftentimes that's what happens. And then, we change, our desire change, and then that version of the person we've been in a relationship with hasn't caught up to our new vision and our new desire, because we haven't really formulated and worked it out and gained the clarity of it in ourselves. But then we go, well, now I need them to change, right? And now I want more out of this. Now I need him to change. And if he doesn't, then I'm going to be unhappy. So it's still coming from the perspective of needing them to change and not making the shift internally, right? He did not change his mind. He distanced himself more and more. So at this point, you're creating the distance. You're creating the distance by needing him to change, instead of recognizing at this point, and that's fine, of course, you didn't know this at that time, instead of recognizing that you needed to make the shift. Now you focus in your mind and your visualization on having the relationship expand into a different direction where you now preferred it to be. And that's kind of what it is. We formulate these new desires, and then we try to change the circumstance. We try to push against the reality and mold it to match our new desire. Whereas we're the ones that have to match the new desire on the inside, yes, vibrationally. I'm going to keep giving you hell about that. So I panicked. See, now that's what happens. You panic. And you go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, all is lost. The reality isn't changing. The reality isn't changing. How do I get it to change? How do I get it to change? Again, you have to change. You have to shift on the inside. And then as a result, you felt worthless and unloved. I started quarreling with him several times. Again, you're trying to change him. Why don't you change your behavior? Why don't you now become a match to what I want so I can be happy, right? I'm not trying to tease you here. I'm saying it in that voice because, that's the sentiment that goes into it, right? And you know this very well. I know it very well, and I recognize it. They need to change, and if they don't change, we get pissy, and we get upset, and we start panicking, and we start arguing with them. Why don't you love me more? Why don't you want this too? It's been this long, and we've only done this, and now I want more, and why don't you change? When has that ever worked in any kind of relationship? So obviously things are now unraveling because you're expecting the reality to shift and change on its own without you making the shift on the inside. You're expecting him to show up in a certain way, but you have to show up in the new way. You have to become, in your mind, the person that now has what you want now, right? So how do you do that? You remain calm. You let him come to you. You let him choose that on his own. You remain focused on your new vision. You keep enjoying the relationship with him that you had, the regular contact, the friends with benefits. And in your mind, when you're alone and when you do your visualizations and when you do your scripting and you do your affirmations, you say, but our relationship is growing into something much, much deeper. Our relationship is growing into something much, much deeper. And I'm loving the unfoldment of it. I'm loving watching the process of it. And I know it's moving, constantly expanding as I am expanding. As my desire is expanding, as I am expanding as a creative being on this planet, then my circumstances are expanding right along with me. And I love watching that. And all I have to do is kick back and just let it take place. That's it, right? But of course, hey, you were learning, so it's fine, okay? I don't ever want anyone to punish themselves for making mistakes. There are no mistakes. You're learning. That's all there is. We all had to learn to walk at some point. I don't think back on all the times I fell on my butt when I was learning to walk as a toddler and think about, God, I'm such an idiot. Why didn't I learn to walk better and quicker? You learn, and then when you learn, you go, oh, I see. If I hadn't gone through all the falling on my butt, I wouldn't be so good at walking right now, or whatever it is. I started quarreling with him several times, whereupon he broke off contact with me in December 2018. Well, of course, so now you're kind of resisting and pushing, and the reality is, because you're coming from the the mindset and the focus of, well, he's not how I want him to be. He's not how I want him to be. So now the reality has to reflect that back to you, because that's your focus. That's where you're coming from. That's what you're putting out there. So of course that's reflecting back. And as you panic more and more and try to push more and more, he's distancing himself more and more, as where finally the relationship ended. I was very sad and down most of the time. My first approach, it was in March 2019. I think what you mean is you approached him again in March of 2019 of this year. He did not remain unanswered, but very cold. And I think that means he answered you, your text messages or whatever, but it was cold. He was kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm fine too. Okay, I got to go or whatever, right? And I remember that from your emails too, from your sessions. I contacted you, Tarkon, for the first time. You have given me courage and helpful tips that I have implemented them. Well, and that's what I'm here for. But of course, the key is there that you implement them. And you did, and good for you. All I can do is give you guidance and give you perspective, because I'm coming at it from an outside. I'm not so emotionally involved in your situation, so I can look at it objectively more, and I can kind of tell you, oh, well, this is what's going on, this is what's going on, and try this out, and try thinking of it this way and looking at it this way. But of course, you're the one who ultimately changed the situation for the better. It wasn't me. I didn't change it for you, but I appreciate you thanking me. But you should be patting yourself on the back, and you should be proud of yourself, and I am. I worked on my self-love, right? Good. There were still many days when I felt very bad, and that's going to happen. As you shift, you're still going to have days when you feel bad. Don't try to reach for perfection. Don't try to reach for, I have to be 100% positive all the time now. I can never feel bad. The feeling bad is an indication. It's your guidance system, all right? It's your inner being communicating with you directly through your emotions. And what's happening is those days that you're feeling bad, you're probably kind of going back to those thoughts of, well, I'm feeling unloved. He doesn't really love me. He doesn't really want me. This is never going to work out. And as you feel bad about those thoughts, what that is your inner being disagreeing with you, disagreeing with your perspective on the situation. It's saying, no, you can turn this around. No, there is something there. There is love there. No, you're not worthless. You're not unloved. And you're feeling bad about that thought is a strong indication at that moment to shift your thoughts. Right in that moment, as you feel bad, you can step outside yourself a little bit, look at the situation a little bit more objectively, a little bit more like an observer, and go, wow, that thought I just had, or that train of thoughts that I just had, made me feel awful. So what's my inner being trying to communicate with me about that? It's trying to tell me that I'm wrong about that. I'm wrong about my assessment of the situation. I'm wrong about my perspective of the situation. So now you start playing a little bit. You start reaching for different thoughts. You start switching it around and go, well, maybe I am loved. Maybe he does love me. I'm just not understanding it because I'm so locked into believing that he doesn't, and see how that switches. Or, hey, I have all kinds of things and people in my life that make me feel loved. My family loves me. My dog loves me. My kids love me. My brother and sister, my coworkers love me. My friends love me. Okay, that person on the street was really nice to me today. They seem to like me. And then suddenly you start feeling better as you reach for better feeling thoughts. What's happening is your inner being is communicating with you and letting you know, yes, those thoughts are better. That's better than what you were doing just 5 minutes ago. Keep going with that. Keep going in that direction. Milk that a little bit more, okay? So you're always being guided. So when you're kind of shifting, but you're still experiencing bad days, don't freak out about that. It doesn't mean you're going backwards. It doesn't mean everything's going to stop dead in its tracks again, or that your manifestation isn't happening. It just means that you're shifting. You're the one that has to sort of do the little inward dance, okay? So what you're doing is you're just sort of, it's a little push and pull that you're doing with yourself, all right? Learn to listen more to your emotions and understand that it is that higher part of you that is more aware of the situation, more from a spiritual perspective too, that is letting you know, hey, go in this direction. Oh, go a little bit less in that direction. It's almost like that game you played when you were a kid where it's like you're trying to find the thing that someone hid and they tell you warm, hot, cold, warmer, getting very hot. Your emotions, that's kind of what's going on there, okay? So as your emotion, you're going up and down in your day, from the bottom of the ladder to the top of the ladder, that's what's going on. It's your inner being going, oh, no, what you want isn't over there. Cold, 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 cold. Okay, you're getting a little warmer. You're getting a little warmer, you know, and what you know is when you reach for better feeling thoughts, really what's going on is you're going to reach for thoughts that bring you relief, okay? And when you feel that feeling of relief, then you know you're really holding on to a thought that is productive and that is moving you into a direction towards what you want and not away from it. That's all it is. So start looking at it from that perspective. Makes things a lot easier. Where was I? Contacted you for the first time. I worked on my self-love. There were still days when I felt bad. In May was finally the time in which I could mostly feel good. So you're doing the work on yourself and you're allowing that process to unfold, because what you're manifesting here is a better version, a better feeling version of yourself, right? Which is going to be a much better match to what you desire and what you want, to becoming the person that's going to be in a relationship with your SP. And that person is at ease with themselves. That person is confident about themselves. That person is so in love with themselves that whatever the other person does or doesn't do doesn't really matter that much. But you are able to give them compassion and love, yes, but you're putting yourself on your own pedestal, not them. You're making your life about you, all right? That's that person. The person who's in a successful relationship with the person they want to be in a successful relationship has an independent kind of attitude about life. Has a kind of a, I love this relationship and I love this person, but I also love feeling good. I love being in a good feeling state, and I'm confident and I love myself. And that's why I'm in a successful relationship with the person I want to be in a relationship with. You have to become the thing that you want. All right, you have to, and that means, and of course Goddard says this, assuming the feeling state of the end result. You have to feel like the person that you would feel like, have the attitude of the person that you would have if you already had what you wanted. And a person who is feeling panicky and trying to push and wondering where are they, obviously isn't living the relationship that they want to live. They're living the reality that they're not in the relationship, that they're frustrated and alone and sad and panicking about the situation and feeling unwanted and unloved, all right? So, in May was finally the time in which I could mostly feel good. I was happy again, right? Excellent. And that is an indication, like I said before, that your thoughts are shifting in a more positive direction, in a more self-focused, self-loving direction. The fact that you're feeling happier again, and over the course of these few weeks you're feeling happier, is an indication, direct indication from your inner being saying, good, look at this, you're moving in the right direction. You're finally shifting your focus onto yourself. You're finally making it about loving yourself. You're finally choosing to be happier. You're finally choosing better feeling thoughts. So this is your indication, is that you're feeling better as a result. Is your indication, your direct indication that you're moving in the direction of your desire and not away from it. I was happy again, even without him in my life. Even without him in my life. Now that's the key. You're making it about you now and not him. And how exciting is that? And look what's going to happen here. You know, look how it shifted all of a sudden. It's an inside-out job, not an outside-in job. Life moves from the inside out, not reverse. The reverse reality, the outside reality is what we perceive as outside, and there really is no outside. It's just a 3D mirror that's reflecting back to you your state of being at any given moment, and your dominant state of being. And now your dominant state of being is shifting. You're shifting the focus onto yourself, and you're understanding that this is where the work has to happen, not out there. This is what I have to change, not him. I don't have to change him. He'll shift as I shift. I have to change. I'm the one. This is where the work is, okay? Not out there, all right? And you're learning this now, and here you are, and things are turning around for you. And it happens every single time. With all the success stories, and even if you just go read Google success stories, you'll see, if you look for that in people's stories, you'll see how it is always a shift they made in themselves. How it was never that, oh, I argued with him until he finally changed his mind and now we're happy. You know, I panicked and panicked and panicked until finally something shifted and now we're happy. You never hear that. You never hear that in a success story. So anyway, I was feeling happy again, even without him in my life. And then in June, Wow, voila, a sudden approach came from him. Then 5 weeks again of silence. So, yes, so you had a text message from him or something. You were very excited. I remember this because I think this was something I have to dig a little bit. But I think I remember this, and there was silence, and you were kind of thinking, well, what now? I haven't heard from him again. Oh, I heard from him, and now there's silence. Again, it's the process unfolding. Let that bridge of events unfold. Let him come to you at his own pace. Let the desire come to you at its own pace. Because again, and this happens a lot, what people do is they'll have a success. They'll be like, I got happy, I focused on myself, and then I heard from them, and then there was nothing. And now what happens there, of course, is that we expect things to happen overnight, immediately, boom, boom, boom. Now the shift is finally going to happen, and then we get disappointed again when it's taking a little bit longer than we thought it is. And we think, again, because we want to perceive with our 5 senses, and we think that if something isn't being perceived by our 5 senses, it's not happening. If I can't see him coming towards me, then he's not coming towards me. If I can't hear or feel or taste the manifestation unfolding, then the manifestation isn't unfolding. But of course it is. There are things being arranged behind the scenes that are going to be completely out of the purview of your, that might be a word that I used completely wrong there. But anyway, it's unfolding completely out of your perspective. And that doesn't, just because you can't see it or hear it or taste it or touch it or feel it, doesn't mean it's not happening. Doesn't mean there's stuff happening behind the scenes that is being rearranged for you. Reality has to deconstruct itself, rearrange itself, and might have to do that a few times in order for things to fall into place the way that you want them to. Your mission and your goal and your work in all that time, through all that process, is to only ever keep yourself steady on the inside. Keep your focus steady. Even through what it seems to be taking a little longer, or I heard from him, then I didn't hear from him again for 5 weeks, what's going on? At that point, you want to really keep doing what you're doing. That's the challenge. Because things are going to, for a while, they're going to appear like they're moving backwards, or they're not moving at all. It doesn't mean that they're not moving. It doesn't mean it's not progressing. Things have to happen behind the scenes that are going to be out of your view, out of your vision, out of your field of perception. And then, at some point, it'll come back again when it's ready to show you the next thing, the next step, the next thing to do, the next action to take. You'll know because it will feel easy, because you will have remained easy about it. You will have maintained your focus, your inner focus on yourself and on remaining calm throughout the situation, okay? So just because you can't see anything happening and you're not hearing anything doesn't mean something isn't shifting, something isn't developing for you. And as you see, the very next line, she contacts him. So 1 week ago, I contacted him again. But here's the thing. Now, normally I wouldn't recommend that at this point, especially if you're going, well, it's been 5 weeks. I'm going to contact him now, because then you're taking action from the perspective of nothing's happening. I have to step in now. And then usually that's uninspired action, and it's usually action that will move us forward. But now listen to the next line, and this is very important. I did not care how he would react. That's what I'm talking about. I did not care how he would react. So there's a loudspeaker. They're announcing some event in the village. Anyway, therein lies the rub, right? You contacted him. Maybe there was a little desperation in your contacting him a week ago. It's been 5 weeks of silence, so you're going, I don't know, I should probably do something. But the trick here is that you didn't care how he would react. And usually what happens then is that is, I wouldn't say necessarily inspired action, but you're also not trying to do it to get a response from him. If you're doing it to force a response out of him, or force a response out of your physical reality, then you're going to kind of frustrate yourself, and you're interfering with the process. But in this case, I would say you didn't interfere with your process. And the fact that you didn't care about how he would react is also communication from your inner being that was saying, that's fine. Go ahead and contact him. It'll be okay. If you had done so from a place, you had thought about contacting him and you were just feeling tension all the time and anxiety about it, that's your inner being going, not now, not now, not now. Calm down. Go back to go breathe. Go do something else. Not now. We got this. We're still working on this. Get out of the kitchen for a while, okay? The cookies aren't done yet. All right? Go read a book. Go lie down. I'll call you when it's ready, okay? It's like your mother's baking cookies at Christmas when you're a kid, and you're like, running around her feet. She's like, go play for a while. I'll call you when the cookies are ready, okay? Get out of my way. That's kind of what's going on there. But in this case, it was the right time to do this, right? So because you were in the right vibrational environment to do it, you had the right kind of attitude and focus and energy going on, where you're like, hey, I want to contact him, but I don't care if I hear back or how he's going to react, or if he reacts negatively to it. I don't really care, because I've kept working on myself and my inner focus. So good. So if you're going to contact them, make sure that is your attitude. Okay, either it's going to feel easy and it feels like the logical next thing for you to do, and there's no resistance going on about it inside yourself, no negative emotions, no tension in your muscles or butterflies in your stomach, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll send him a quick text and see how he's doing, and then I'm going to go back to whatever I'm doing. So I've experienced that. With SPs and X's that I wanted to manifest back. And then, it was always in the moment that I was like, oh, you know what? I just feel like it came in my head. I just feel like saying hey to her, hey, what's up? And then we'd end up having this really long, even sexy kind of text conversation. And it was completely because I just had that attitude about it. So you got to give unconditionally if you're going to give something like a text message or a hello. Don't do it because you're expecting something back from them, and then if you don't receive it, you're going to feel awful again and put yourself back to square one, okay? So she did the right thing there. She contacted him, but only did it because she didn't care how he would react, or if he would even react at all. Because she was focused on herself. She was making herself more important than the situation and the circumstance. But he was obviously happy about my message. So you see, perfect. It's just like I described with when I messaged that person. He was happy. So he was happy to hear from you because you're not pushing so much. And he can feel that energy. He can feel that your energy is different. Your energy is not desperate. You're not coming from a place where he feels the pressure to change, right? That's icky. And even if he's not aware of the fact that that's energy he's sensing coming from you, he's feeling icky about it because you're coming from a desperate kind of perspective about this. He can feel that. We feel each other's energy. We pick up on each other's energy because we're all connected. We're all the same being. So there's really no separation between us. But see, you didn't care. So then he felt that he could easily approach you, come at you at his own pace, that your text message, you're contacting him was invitational, and that it wasn't exerting pressure on him or trying to manipulate him, but it was invitational, that you were just opening the door and saying, hey, it's fine for you to come on in, but if you don't, I'm cool, right? So then he wanted to come in. Now he wants to come in. He's like, oh, okay, I sense something different here. I want to find out what that is, right? So, he was obviously happy about my message. We arranged a meeting, and that was yesterday. So she sent this a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, I think, or yesterday. So that was a few days ago. It was great. It was as if we had not parted. Now, what about that right there? All the time, what did I say in the beginning of this video? All the time you're worrying about time going by, how much time has gone by. When you get your manifestation, when you're back with your SP and you're having a date with them and you're starting the whole process of courtship again, which is exciting, it's like no time has passed at all. Like all the time that she sat around worrying about it's been this long, suddenly is all out the window because she's not focused on that anymore. Because now she's shifted herself. She's now experiencing her relationship coming into fruition, her desire coming to fruition, and she's seeing the physical signs of it, the physical results of her shifting, right? That she's all that time that she waited around and panicked and felt depressed just doesn't even matter anymore because here she is enjoying it, right? Enjoying her manifestation. So that's a message, a big clue for all of you out there who are worried about the time factor. You got to stop thinking about that. And if you make your scenes and your visualizations convincing enough from a feeling perspective, then you'll be able to live in that reality, vibrationally in your feeling state internally before you experience it physically. So get yourself there in your visualizations. Get to the feeling place. That's why it's so important to not worry about how the scene looks, but to worry about how it feels and how you feel as you're doing it, how you feel as you're doing your affirmations, right? So that's what the important part here. So now she's back, they're having a great time, they're communicating, she's so happy and excited. All that time she waited and she was worried about it doesn't even matter anymore. It's like it doesn't even exist anymore, and it's like it never existed to begin with. Even if it had been 5 years, that when you come back together with your SP and your ex, it's like 5 years never happened, okay? And that's how it's gonna go. So it was great. If it was as if we had never parted. We talked more about the experiences of the past few months, less about how we should proceed. So that's good. I think that, you know, I mean, I wouldn't talk about the past in terms of your past relationship and everything that went wrong. You have to understand that you're going to manifest a new relationship with this person. So as you do, when they contact you or when you have your first few dates again, you don't want to bring up the crap from the past. It's over, and don't bring your focus back on that. You have to treat them like a new person now, like it's a new relationship, and you're going to start dating them again all over. And that's fun though, right? You're going to start the whole courtship process from square one, because now you're different people, and some time has passed, so you've grown in different directions, and who are we now? So you've spoken of the experiences of the past few months, meaning probably more about how you've developed and kind of grown, and that's good. You want to keep the interaction positive, right? And you don't want to pressure about like, well, what are we now? You know, you're going back on your first date again or your second date again, and if you start talking about, so where's this going? Are we going to get married one day? You know, that's just jumping. It's putting the cart before the horse, right? You want to take things easy. So that's good. Don't talk about all the icky past stuff, and don't talk so much about the future. Just be in the moment when you meet them again. I get a lot of people asking me that. What should I do? I heard from them. I'm going to have a date with them. I have a date with them. How exciting. And then they freak out and go, I don't know what to talk about. Keep it positive. Speak to them like you did when you first met. Explore them. Ask them questions about themselves and their lives and what they want, what they're excited about. Talk about positive things. Keep it upbeat, okay? And then, go on the next date and the next date and the next date. And as you're doing that, you are dating them again. You're in a relationship with them again. But he apologized for breaking off contact with me and said it was a mistake. So look at his shift in attitude from distancing himself when you were arguing with him and telling him, hey, I feel about this way about you. Why don't you feel this way? Getting into quarrels with him about it. He was pulling back further and further until he didn't want any contact with you at all anymore. And now look at this shift. Did you achieve this by yelling at him and arguing with him and pushing him and writing him all the time? No, you achieved this by pulling back and focusing on yourself and shifting your inner self, your inner focus and vibration, your inner energy. And as you did that, he shifted because the way he showed up, or the version of him that you preferred now to showed up and is beginning to emerge. The old version of him still exists, but you have now shifted yourself into a reality where this version of him is the dominant version, okay? And the dominant, the one that you are perceiving, because you're choosing to perceive it as opposed to the old version of him now. So that's what's happening. I'm gonna say he hasn't even shifted at all. You've shifted. You've shifted towards that place, that parallel reality where this version of him, the preferred version of him, exists and has always existed, until just waiting for you to activate it, okay? So look at that. Look how you've shifted. Look how you've turned this around. Look where you are now. And that's why this is not a half success story. You're just going to keep shifting more and more into those other realities where you're getting closer and closer to what you want. It's like a film strip. These are all stills, but as you're speeding it up and you're shining light through it, meaning your focus, you're watching the film and the story unfold. That's the bridge of events. That's the process I keep talking about, okay? Don't jump the gun. Let it unfold. Did I say that already like 5 times in this video? Which is already turning into a 40-minute video, but that's okay. I love stories like this. There's so much here. It's actually a short email, but there's so much here to talk about and touch upon. So many elements to this that are being perfectly demonstrated through this story. So he apologized for breaking off contact with you. He said it was a mistake. So here you have the version of him that's been missing you, that's been thinking about you, that's been going, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have gotten rid of her. That was great with her, you know. And as you're shifting and loving yourself more and being more about yourself and being happier, you're proving it to him, you know, where he's going, wow, look at her. She's awesome. Why did I ever break up with her? That's what's going to happen. As you shift and become more confident and more awesome, you're going to become magnetic. You're going to become charismatic to such a degree that everyone's going to want to be around you. Everyone's going to want your attention. Everyone's going to want a piece of you. Everyone's going to want to follow you around and figure out what it is that you're doing differently from what they're doing that's making you so happy and successful in your life. You're going to be leading by example, and that includes your SB and your X, okay? They're going to want to be around you. They're going to want that charisma. They're just going to be drawn to you. And you're going to be like, cool, right on. Of course, I'm awesome. Yeah, come on in. Hey, let's go on a date. You know, what you been doing? Oh, that's nice. Right on. You know, that's going to be your attitude. Like, oh, you don't want to hear? I don't hear from you for 5 weeks. I don't care. I'm happy. I'm cool. You know, that's the attitude you want. You're a catch, damn it. That's what self-love is. Your self-perception has to switch to that perspective. I'm a goddamn catch. All right. So, he said he was looking forward to the meeting and will meet again soon. I still do not have it where I want it. Well, now, see, okay, but that's something I want to say something about right there because, and of course, I've said this already, but this is the process unfolding. This is not a half success story, darling. This is a full success story. You're completely, totally, utterly on your way to having what you want. Now, don't shift your focus back to, oh my God, it's not what I want it to be yet. You know, you're not gonna get that elephant overnight. You're not gonna be like, you know, I heard from him and we're getting married tomorrow. I mean, it could happen that way, but would you want it to happen that way, right? I mean, part of the relationship is the love story too, right? Part of what you might want to manifest is that courtship, that love story. It's exciting, it's adventurous, it's kind of like, ooh, you know, you get the little butterflies, whatever's going on there. You know, don't you want that? Don't you want the whole story and not just the end? Don't you want the whole thing, right? The whole package of the relationship so that 10 years down the road, you look back and you talk about, oh my God, you know how we met? It was amazing. This is a great story because we actually were friends with benefits, and then he didn't want to talk to me forever, and then I was like, whatever, and then he came back, and then we dated, and I was like, okay, that's cool, and then he was like, now he's all about me, and you know this, and then we got married, and he's like, I'm in love with you, and you know you're gonna want to tell that story, right? Because that's interesting. That's a cool love story. Why do we make movies and write novels about this kind of stuff? It's always frustrating, this back and forth, boy loves girl, girl loves boy, boy ignores girl, blah, 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 whatever it is. You know, we love that stuff, okay? As human beings. We love stories, and we want our life to be an amazing, cool story. And we want our relationships to be amazing and cool stories that are unfolding. Your story is unfolding. Your new story, your new chapter, your new relationship with him is unfolding right in front of your eyes. You're seeing the physical evidence and reflection of your shift in focus, your shifting attitude, your focus on yourself, your self-love growing. As it's growing, you're seeing your manifestation coming to fruition. So that's not a half success story. And it is exactly right now where it needs to be and where you do want it to be. All right? But I know that it is a process. So yes, good. You follow that up with, I know it is a process and that I'm well on my way to achieving it. So yes, I didn't need to go through all that. But for the purpose of those of you who are still going, I don't know, it's not what I want yet. You're seeing and you're understanding that it is a process and it is unfolding for you. So good. Keep up what you've been doing. Okay. Don't change a thing right now. We will definitely see each other, and he's back in my life, Tarkan, and I'm so excited for that. He is back in your life, and what a great story that's unfolding for you guys. I'm proud of you. I know you were doing very, very badly for a while there, and I think about a month ago or so when we last interacted, you weren't doing well at all, and you know what? I'm really proud of you turning this around. And it wasn't me that did it. I gave you a little guidance and little tips, but it was you who did it. You turned this around, okay? So you need to be proud of yourself for this. And for me, that is a huge step. Of course, it's a huge step. And look at this. As you go through now that you've shifted this and you see how this works, you can now apply this to everything else in your life. That's the beauty of this. This situation blew up for you in your life probably as a way, because your inner being needed you to push you towards another chapter, to push you forward, to progress and evolve as a spirit, but also as a human being in your life right now. To kind of go, well, she's ready to learn these lessons, and this is a perfect situation to implement right now for her with this specific person and this ex that she wants back, to get her to kind of go through the process of learning how this stuff works, because she's ready for that now. And so as you've gone through this, you see now you know something. You know how to walk. Once you know how to walk, you're going to know how to run. Okay, that kind of thing. So you're on your way to not just having a great relationship and manifesting what you wanted, but you're going to be much better at manifesting pretty much everything from that point forward. You're going to understand your attitude is going to keep improving about things in your life, whether it's your work that you want to manifest something different, a different work, or a different money situation, or better relationships with your family, or just, as you get up at the beginning of your day, you're just manifesting a better day and a better day every day. Better circumstances, a better parking spot. At some point, this is just going to be second nature to you. You're just going to go, oh, of course, yeah. Oh, look, I kind of manifested something stupid there. That's cool. I'll just switch it around. You're not going to freak out so much anymore. So this is part of you learning that. And as you're never going to go back to that. You'll have days, you'll have challenging days. And of course, like I said, those are important. We're always going to have those. We're always going to have the contrast. We need it to propel ourselves forward and to evolve and to expand as creative beings. We need that. But you're not going to be so stuck on the situations as you were before. You're not going to react to them in quite the same way that you did before. You're going to see them for what they are. Just little tools to help you move forward and expand. You're going to, oh, that sucks. Cool, I'll just turn it around. And I know how to do that now. See? So good. So look at this as not just your relationship changing here and you're manifesting your SP back, but you're also manifesting being a creator. You're manifesting becoming a master at this, and it's going to help you in every other area of your life, not just your relationships. And all this I have to thank myself, but also you, Tarkan. So good. You're thanking yourself first, and you're welcome for my part in it. But I'm glad you said yourself first. You gave me courage, though it seemed hopeless. Well, because I know nothing is hopeless, and I know that you can do it. I know all of you out there can do it, okay? For me, your situation is not hopeless, even if you're feeling hopeless about it. I'm not going to agree with you on that ever. I'm never going to tell you, you're right, it's hopeless. That's why I do this, because I know you can turn it around. I know you can, and I know you will. Whether it's with my guidance or somebody else's, or really just, your own guidance. You opened up new perspectives when I was giving up. So feel free to tell my story of success, as I have done. I believe that anyone can achieve anything if you are stable and enjoy life and do not worry about what happens and when it happens. I thank you from the heart, Tarkan. Well, you're most welcome, honey, and thank you for that. That's really sweet. And you know what? Your email made my day the other day. When I read it, I was really, really happy to hear from you, because I know you were doing a little badly. I was a little worried about you a couple of times in terms of that. I know you were very depressed and very down on yourself. So when I got this email from you, it really put a smile on my face, and I was very, very happy to read it. And I've been happy to do this video. So whenever I say to you guys, hey, I'm looking forward to your success story, I know I'll get it eventually, right? Maybe that I'm manifesting it, aren't I? So I want to manifest more success stories from you guys. Thank you for sharing that with me, and please keep us all updated, and enjoy your awesome relationship unfolding. And the rest of you, look at this story and the other stories, and the stories that I'm going to post in future success stories, and go look for other success stories, not just on my channel, other channels. Go Google them, go read blogs about them, read books about them. They're encouraging. Take them as a sign that you can also achieve what you want, okay? If she can do it, if I can do it, if they can all do it, then you can do it, okay? So don't ever, ever, ever give up, all right? So thank you for watching, guys. I don't know when the next video is coming up, like I said, but thank you for all. I keep getting more subscribers, and I keep getting awesome comments and likes, so thank you for all of that. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so now if you like the video, and if you like the cut of my jib, please subscribe now. Thank you all for your donations, people that send me donations. Thank you for all my coaching clients. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of a break from coaching for a couple of weeks, just because right now it's just a little bit overwhelming. And in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be driving again. And I'll be back in Germany for a while, and I can pick it up again from there. But right now I'm going to actually give it a couple of weeks break. So for all of you who want coaching right now, just hang tight for a couple of weeks. It'll be back up, and I'm going to shift some things around. So there'll be some changes going on that I need to implement. But as far as that's concerned, just hang tight, and I'll be back on that front, on the coaching front, very, very soon. All right. So thanks again for watching, guys. Thank you for your awesome success story. And until next time, happy manifesting. And I'm Tarkon, and take care. Bye-bye.